Here is a baking tutorial of apple pie from start to finish. I tested a cream cheese pie dough for the very first time, processing the fats, which are butter and cream cheese, with pastry flour until the pieces of fat are still quite large. The liquids are heavy cream and apple cider vinegar, which are added at the end and only blended until it comes together. I used a scale to come up with the exact amount I need for 1 8-inch pie crust on the bottom. I use a full sheet pan size Silpat upside down because it does not slide around while I work, and it is the perfect size for rolling out one crust. The dough is still quite cold off the paddle, but I work quickly and efficiently so that I can place it and shape it before putting it in the cooler overnight to rest, relax the glutens, and hydrate the starches. The dough is like velvet. It's very crushable, so I carefully bag it for its overnight storage. In the morning, when the dough is quite firm, I'll blind bake it twice. The first time with weights and the second time without. I used sucrose as a weight so that I could get some sugar with a little bit of flavor for my other baking. And the second bake, while technically not a blind bake, is at a lower temperature, and it's to color. The apple pie filling recipe I'm using, I've literally made thousands of pies from, and it is delicious. It's a cornstarch thickened pie filling. I processed all of the apples very carefully without crushing them. They are cut to even size so that they can bake very evenly. After adjusting the recipe to the amount of apples I've processed, I began mixing the filling and egg washing the very top of the pie crust. Fresh nutmeg and very freshly squeezed lemon juice are key to the flavor. I'm very aware that the apples are oxidizing while I am scaling and egg washing the pie crust for a second time. This pie is just for me and my husband Dave, so I am using this lattice crust that has been through the ringer. It's been in and out of the cooler repeatedly and it's very broken, but I don't care. It is still going to taste delicious. It's equally important how you mix the filling as it is to how you fill the pie shell. Very gently so as not to break up the apples, but also to evenly distribute all of the ingredients on each piece of apple. I aim for the center and pull upward. The apples will naturally shrink and fall during baking. By tucking in the apples and placing them gently, I allow for the pie to remain nice and full all the way through the bake. The broken lattice was still fun to place, and I gave it a quick egg wash and a sprinkling of raw sugar. I bake all of my pies on a baking stone at 350 to start, and after 20 minutes I turn it down to 275 until it's bubbly and dark. This pie probably baked for 2 hours. If you have never had a very darkly baked pie, I encourage you to make one and try it just once. See if you don't notice the elevated difference. An underbaked crust is nothing like a fully baked, dark, caramelized, delicious crust. It's now greater than the sum of its parts and incredibly delicious.